Today we're going to be doing the Macquarie University Week 2 final assignment. So let's get started. Number 1. We want to figure out which orders are considered urgent by our customers. This is to be judged by whether they specify that their order is high priority or critical priority, or if they choose express air for delivery. Okay, these make sense. So it's high or critical. Obviously, it's a urgent order. If it's express air, it's like fast. They need it instantly, so it is urgent as well. Populate column X to show that it is true if they classify that their order is high or critical, or if they have chosen express air as their mode of shipment. At the top of the column, count the number of cases for column X. Report this number here. Okay, let's get started on that. So open up that worksheet. Here's the worksheet. So customers who are urgent is the one we're trying to fill out. And the high or critical is regarding the order priority, and then the express air is regarding the ship mode. Fortunately for us in this question, it's just getting us started. So they're saying or. So it's or any of these. So essentially, the or function is that if any of these are true, then it is true. The and function is that they have to match all of the requirements, or is that they have to match one of the requirements. So let's get started inside out. So let's use that or function, okay? The or function, the first thing we're looking for is that the order priority here is high. Then we're looking for that the order priority is critical. Then we're looking for ship mode to be express air. So it can be either or of these. So I'm going to click enter. The equation is not done yet, but I'm going to click enter to show you what it should look like. So it would be true in this case because one of the requirements, aka the order priority being high, shows that it is an urgent order. So let's just double tap that and it fills in everything for the entire column. Now, let's go to the second part of the equation. Remember, they wanted us to write that if it's true, then we enter it with true. If it's false, then we just leave it as blank. So, therefore, we use the if function. The if function with these requirements, and then what happens in true is quotation marks, true. And then if we don't want anything to happen if it's false, then we just put two quotation marks with nothing in between. Then click enter. And you get true. Double tap once again. And this is what you get. Now we're supposed to count how many of these customers are considered urgent. So at the top here, you have to use a function that counts how many true is there. We don't want to count the blanks, but we want to count the ones that are true. So you go equal count if, and highlight this entire range. So shift command down for my MacBook, and then the criteria is let's put stars around that. So what this basically is that anything resembling the word true, it counts it as. So hit enter, and there we go. 497 are considered urgent. We want to figure out which customers are consider their orders to be urgent. Actually choose an urgent method of delivery. Populate column Y so that it shows true if they classify their orders as high or critical, and they have chosen express air as the mode of shipment. At the top of the column, count the number of cases. Okay. So we are looking to find out which orders are considered urgent and they have chose a fast form of delivery, as in express air. So this is different in terms that the and you can see is capital. Before it was or any of these. This time it's an and. So let's get started. So first of all, let's fulfill that or requirement. So once again, or function, and that this is high, open parentheses, high, comma, or that this is critical. So if these are fulfilled, then that's great. However, once again, the equation's not over. So let's go back and then hit AND. So at this point, OR means that it could be high or critical, and that's fine. But it also has to have a ship mode of express air. Hit enter. And for most of these will be false. Now, it's once again, we're not over. So right now, what we do have is that high or critical, and it fits the criteria of being shipped in an express air format. Now we go if function. So if it fulfills this, then it's true. If it doesn't fulfill it, let's just make it blank, hit enter, and there we go. So for example, these are true. These are true because they have met the criteria of the order priority being high, and subsequently they had a ship mode that is express air. For this one, it's critical, so that makes sense, and the ship mode is express air. For the one below that, it may be a high order priority, but they're not treating it as such due to the ship mode. So these are the customers who are urgent and also chose an urgent form of delivery. So let's once again use that formula to count how many truths is there. So count if, we can highlight the entire section, the entire column, sorry, and then open quotation marks, star true, star close. And there we go. So we know that 67 of these people have both had a high or critical order priority and use a ship mode that makes sense in terms of that it is express. 67 is the number we're looking for. We want to so number 3, we want to figure out which orders are considered medium priority or higher. Populate column Z so that it shows that it is true if they classify their order as medium or high or critical. So these are all ORs. At the top of the column, count, okay. We want to figure out which orders are considered medium priority or higher. Medium, higher, critical counts as that. So, okay, equals or function high, this is equal to medium, or that this is critical. So this is what the results are. That's simply it. High or critical or medium order priority. So we want to know how many of these are true and then how many are false. So let's just simplify it a little bit more for ourselves, that if it's true, then let's say true. If it's false, then let's just make it empty. Okay, double click, and there we go. These are the ones that are true have a high or critical or medium order priority. So once again, we can just count how many of these fulfill that criteria. So let's just double check this is the right section. Okay, there we go. So 625 is our answer. Now, number 4, which customers are not choosing express air for their delivery? Populate column AA so that it shows true if they do not choose express air as the mode of shipment. Hint, the function not gives the opposite result, and which may be useful here. At the top of the column, count the number of cases. Okay. So we want to populate column AA to show that it's true if they do not choose express air. if they do not choose express air. So they want the ones that are not express air. So in this case, it would be like regular air, delivery truck. And yeah, those are our three different options. So it's either regular air, delivery truck, or express air. So we can use the or function once again, that the ship mode style, is regular air, because we're choosing the ones that do not choose express air. So the ones that are not are the ones that are choosing things like regular air or delivery truck. Hit enter. Once again, we can fulfill the rest of the equation, the rest of the function, by saying true, and then blank if it's false. So there we go. These are the customers who did not choose express air, which is the majority of them, as this column shows. So let's count how many these are. Count if this entire section star true star. 887 of these did not choose express air. So that is our answer. In your answers to question 3 and 4, we want to call the customers who have priorities that are medium or higher. So it's medium, high, or critical, but do not choose express air for delivery. So basically, we want to contact those that have a decent order priority, but did not choose a shipping method that reflected a decent order priority. Populate column AB so that it shows call if both column Z and A are true, or do not call otherwise. At the top of the column, count the number of customers we are going to call. So for this example, we want to use an AND function because we want both Z and A to be true. Okay, let's do that then. Okay, now we go to this section, do equals AND function, because we want both of them to be true, so not just one of them to be true, which in that case we would use the OR function. So Z3 equals true. And we also want the fact that AA is true. Close brackets, drag and drop all of these, and now true or false we have. The next part of the equation is to do the if. So if it is true, what do? We call them. So let's do that. This is the logical test, and if it's true, we do call them. If it's not true, then we do not call. Close brackets, hit enter, and there we go. When we put in the count if for this section and how many are call specifically, we don't want to use the one with star before, because if you use the one with star, it picks up anything revolving the word call. It would pick up do not call. In this case, take out the stars and just put specifically call. So in this case, 526 are considered that we need to call and we need to follow up on. Number 6, we will be calling those customers whose entry in column AB is call. To talk to them about express delivery option, we would like to monitor the number of calls and the duration of the calls for research. We do not want to call customers who have told us they are not interested. So in this column, have the default value of interest potential, but this can be switched to no interest if the customer indicates they are not interested. For calling previous lessons on data validation and drop-down list, allow the entries in column AC to come from a drop-down list of interest potential or no interest. Okay, let's do that first part first. So this is a lot. This is essentially telling us use data validation to create a drop-down list that says interest potential or no interest potential for the entire column. So let's do that first. Highlight all. Well, let's Yeah, actually we can do that. It's fine. Data validation, and then a list. Potential and no interest. These are the two. So that is how we create a drop-down list with this option or that option. So hit OK. And now everything south of here, we can see interest potential or no interest. Let's go back to the second part of the problem. So recall in previous lessons, now using an if statement, populate the column with interest potential if the entry in column AB is call. Okay, let's do that. If column AB is call, then there's interest potential. So if this is equal to call, then if that is true, we want that to be interest potential. Otherwise, you can just leave that as blank. Double click, and these are the ones with interest potential. Let's see what the next part of the problem asks for. Change the 6 entry that says interest potential to no interest. How many calls were made to this customer for this order? Okay. So this is 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. How many calls were made to this customer? Well, let's change it to no interest first, but there's 4 calls made to this customer. So our answer here is simply 4 calls. Okay. Number 7. We also want to calculate the average time spent on these calls per order number, but we do not want an error message to appear if the call has not been made yet, but rather say not called yet. Okay, in this case, let's calculate the average time on calls per order number first. Okay, so in this case, we have the call duration and we have the calls made. So therefore, it is calls duration divided by the calls made is the average number. And also there are some that are blank. So in this case, let's just use an if error. So if it's error, it doesn't worry about it, essentially. Call duration divided by the calls made. And if it's error, don't worry about it. Just keep it blank for now. And there we go. So as you can see, 19 divided by 3 is 6.33. 24 divided by 3 is 8. But let's make sure that all of these are a little bit more digits. So we want to have 2 digits behind. Okay. Oh. And there we go. So these are the average time per call. Let's see what else that they asked for. But we do not want an error message to appear. Okay, so yeah, that is what we did. We made sure that there's no error message that appears. Populate column AF so that it shows if a client were to be called, the average duration of the calls made to them. If an error results from this calculation, because there has been no calls yet, report not called yet. If they were not a customer to call, leave the cell blank. At the top of the column, calculate the average of this column and report the result here. Okay, so we want the average amount of minutes at the end of the day. That's what the question is asking for. So average of all of these. The average call length is 5.65. So let's enter that, 5.65. Okay, question number 8. We would like to see which of our orders are generating the most revenue. If an order has an order total of more than $1,000, we would like to call this a star order. Okay. Populate column AG, star order proposal A with the value star if the order total is more than $1,000. If not, just remain blank. Okay, so we want to go here, and we want to know if this order total is more than 1,000, then they are considered like a star order, star customer. So let's do that. So equals if this order total is greater than 1,000, comma, and if that is true, then we put star. If it's false, then nothing. Just leave it as is. And then drag this along for all of them, and we get certain orders that are star. So for example, this one is star because they spent $5,223. This one is star because they spent $2,906, so on and so on. So now let's count how many stars there are. So count if everything in this section is star. And the answer is there are 189 of these star orders that are more than $1,000 when it comes to the order total. So 189 is our answer here. A consultant asks us to consider star order proposal B, which classifies orders according to a 5-star, so more than $1,000, 4-star, more than 500, and up to 1,000, and simply blank 500, each with the values specified above. So we're specifically looking for how many 4-star orders are there. So let's kind of disregard this for now and just find out how many 4-star orders are there. So 4-star is considered more than 500 and up to 1,000. So it's greater than 500 and equal to or less than 1,000. Okay. So the first thing we want to use is an AND function. So AND, the order total is greater than 500, and we also want the order total to be less than or equal to 1,000. So these are false in this case, and when it is true, so it's for example, this one is more than 500 and less than or equal to 1,000. So let's do the second part of the equation now. So if this is all true, then we want to have I think they had 4-star, and if it is false, then we don't want anything there. So hit enter, double click so that it applies to all, and then we now know which ones have 4-star. So it makes sense that these are between 500 and 1,000. So let's count how many there are in this case. So count if this range meets the criteria of being 4-star. Hit enter, and there we go. 106 of them are considered 4-star. So 106 are 4-star values. We want to call the deputy sales manager to make a courtesy call if the order is a star order, and we have flagged the order as a call that needs to be made. If there are a customer to call and they are a star order, then we want the deputy sales manager to call them. So in this case, this is more of an AND equation. This is not either or, but we want that they are someone that needs to be prioritized and called, and they have an expensive order based on proposal A. So those that are 1,000 and up. Then we want the manager to call them. And let's do this with an if statement. So a deputy to call. So we do and that they have this being a call, so they are worthy of being called on these, and that this is considered a star order. So obviously for a lot of these they don't apply, but up to here, for example, this one would apply. So hit enter. I'd like to just double tap so we could get a reference of like, are we on the right track? Then we simply do the if again. So if these values, then they didn't specify which line they like to use if it's true. So let's just put call. And if it's false, then we just leave it as blank. Hit enter, double click, and for those that are meeting this priority based on star order proposal A, then we'll consider them for someone that the deputy should call. So count if these are all call, and there we go. 96 of them should be called. All of these from question 1 to question 10. I'm unsure of how to answer question 11. I've gotten this specific question wrong multiple times, so therefore we should have everything but this one right. So let's submit this and see where we are. Hit submit. Yep, and there we go, 90.9. So all of these are correct, except for this last one, which I've been having some trouble on, so I'm not even going to bother to explain to you. So that's it for the week 2 final assignment. You really learned how to use the if function, you really learned how to use the count if function, and when to use and or. Well, see you guys on the next